guys only come out at night, and I've flown 4,700 miles to come see them face to face. I'm Josh Garcia, and tonight we're going hunting. We're going knee-deep into the forest of Teresina in the state of Piauí, Brazil. Brazil's vast and unexplored forests are endless and mind-boggling. So unlike most creatures, these guys are near invisible in broad daylight. So to see them, you've got to come out at night. But not just any night. Tonight is a new moon, the darkest night in the Amazon, which will actually reveal the secrets that this forest has. I'm talking about complete blackness, people. You're not gonna be able to see your hand in front of your face. That's where we're going. Now, before going in, we're taking precautions. This is the Brazilian rainforest, known to inhabit some of the world's deadliest creatures. Oh, I'm talking about pit vipers like the bushmaster snake, or the hemotoxic brown recluse spider. And let's not forget the night hunting jaguar. Now, if you're running around here during the daytime, you're good to go, because these guys are night hunters. But tonight, so are we. So to say the least, this should be interesting.
This Babaçu forest holds a secret that only the local people know about it.
I don't know about you guys, but I got a feeling tonight's gonna be a really good night. Let's go.
My research is to go out to these underexplored areas, describe what's there, describe the new species, and just before we lose it all, before the forests are decimated. And once you start doing that and going out at nighttime, you know, putting in a headlamp and hiking out in the middle of the bushes on a new moon, so it's completely dark, and you get into this closed canopy forest, and you turn off your headlamp, you let your eyes adjust for a while, and then you just stumble around the forest, running into trees and, you know, necrotic spiders and viperous snakes and whatever else may be around there, and you just look around. And when we started doing that, we started finding them.
These organisms are incredible, and they just pop out at you at night when you're walking through the woods.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Come here. Look. Do you see it? Oh, that's one. Let's go.
Bioluminescent fungi is a fungus, a mushroom is like a fruit to the fungus. So it's a mushroom or is a fungus that produces light.
Wow! Incredible! If I told you I was in a forest illuminated by glowing mushrooms, would you believe me?
Bioluminescence is something completely different. It is organisms that are producing the light themselves through a chemical process. And the cool thing about fungi is there's very, very few of them that do it.
200 years ago, we rediscovered this species and reclassified it to a new genus, Neonotopanus.
It's been over 170 years since these mushrooms have been studied, while the locals have never forgotten about them. Science forgot about them for a while. These are some of the most brilliant luminescent mushrooms in the world, and they are incredibly useful for the scientific investigation of fungal bioluminescence.
Here's an interesting thought. If we can understand the science behind the bioluminescence in these organisms, then we can use it to reproduce that same chemical reaction to create light for a modern-day application, effortlessly and indefinitely, without the use of fossil fuels, exhaust, any energy input whatsoever, just the presence of water and air. Imagine the benefits. These guys aren't just your average everyday portobellos, they're nature's lanterns, and an energy company's worst nightmare. These guys can save the world.
Just the production of light is just an incredibly interesting thing. It could give us new strategies for even light production in our houses, potentially, if seen by the right person. And they've already recently they found improvements of LED technology through studies of fireflies. So, you know, the study of bioluminescence, how nature does it naturally, has implications for how we use light ourselves.
But the mushroom itself, it's very important. Any kind of basidiomycete is important to the forest because they recycle the nutrients from the base of food chain to another levels. So they are very important in recycling nutrients and continue to feed the forest.
These fungi and bacteria are the great recyclers in these ecosystems. Without them, nothing would be recycled. Every of these important biologically important compounds would be locked up in dead material.
You know what they say, you can eat any kind of mushroom you want, but some you can only eat once. Now, not only is N.Gardneri or flor de coco inedible, it's highly toxic, attacking the liver and the kidneys. And some even say it attacks the white blood cells, leading to jaundice and death. So unless you want to be puking up glowing stars, I might suggest sticking to your stir-fry maitakes.
I went out into the woods, found a mushroom, and I did a taste test. And then about 5 minutes later, my lips began to tingle, which is a kind of a sign that they're pretty toxic. So you probably shouldn't eat these ones, and you just definitely shouldn't just go around eating mushrooms.
So why do these guys glow? Well, it's not proven, but studies show they probably glow in an effort to aid in spore dispersal. This is especially true in closed canopy forests like this one, where the power of the wind is so greatly reduced, they can't depend on it to send their spores around. So they've got to glow really bright, attract animals and bugs to do all of that work for them.
They're mushroom-producing terrestrial fungi. And there are only about 74, 75 species that are known so far to do that, out of the tens of thousands of species of mushrooms.
The fungus it's like a cotton. It has this structure. It's called mycelium. And the mycelium has this web-like appearance. Okay? So this mycelium right now is emitting light. We can't see because there's too much light here, but if we go to a dark room, we can observe its light emission.
The mushrooms glow for the most part all the time, 24 hours a day, even in the daytime. It's not absorbing light and then reflecting it back. They're actually making the light from scratch. They're breaking down some chemical to give off the light.
We don't know the genes responsible for this metabolic process. We do in fireflies and in dinoflagellates and in a number of other groups of bioluminescent organisms. For the fungi, we don't know.
So we're collecting these mushrooms to do experiments inside the laboratory. We're trying to figure out what is the small molecule that actually produces the light when it reacts with oxygen, and what are the proteins that are involved that help facilitate that forming of the special structure with that small molecule and the oxygen to produce the light. And that's why we're here right now, is collecting and drying mushrooms so that we can use them for certain extracts inside the lab. Oh, come here, check this out. There's one more.
Just like medicinal edible mushrooms are good for our bodies, N.Gardneri or flor de coco is specific to the health of these forests.
It's well known that a lot of mushrooms produce useful substance for humans. For example, the strength of immunological system. They are very good to the human organism.
I'm one of the few lucky individuals that have had the opportunity to experience this phenomenon face to face. But with the rising demand for palm oil and wood, these forests are threatened daily, and it's up to you and me to make the best economic decisions to preserve Mother Nature, not destroy her. Because I can't help but wonder, what else is out there? I'm Josh Garcia, and I'm asking you to get outside and trailblaze. I see what's going on here.
Hey little lady, how you doing? Why don't you come back to my place?
Hey there, handsome. You could at least buy me a drink first.
Sure.
Hit the lights. Okay, kids, that's enough. Do your parents know where you are? You're coming back to the station with me.
This is one of our insect traps. What we're trying to do here is understand the ecology of the bioluminescent mushrooms. So we put out these traps. Some of them have LED lights, some of them are without LED lights, and they're coated in a sticky glue. So we put these traps out at sundown, and we come back in the morning before sunrise and collect the traps. And what we're expecting to see is that some insects will be attracted to the lights while other insects are repelled by the lights. This will basically just help us better understand what's going on with these mushrooms and how they interact with the forest.